Did you ever had problem growing Marantas? Well, I had, so let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome to this channel. I'm Anna and I help you grow beautiful and healthy plants. However, in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes that I made growing these wonderful plants. And you may have seen my previous video about them and I was telling you how thriving they are, what I do to care for them. But this winter I was so busy with the job, with the baby, with everything going on in life that I could really do the bare minimum for my plants. And this means that some plants were neglected, like these 3 ones. So I want to talk to you about these problems that I had with them, what I made wrong, and hopefully this will also help you to grow them better, to prevent the same mistakes that I made, and maybe you can even think about what to improve and write them in the comments. And by the way, I've also prepared a course for you about, in general, growing houseplants, so if you would like to have a look at it, please look in the description of this video, the link is right there. But let's talk about the mistake number 1, what I did wrong with these plants. And you can see that, well, this one is almost gone, but I don't throw it away, I still wait till maybe something will grow from the soil, because you may know that Marantas usually do it. For example, here the plant is almost completely gone, only one stem, one branch is left, but this is the new growth. And the same is here, this small baby is growing from here, but the plant is more or less dead. So I cannot even propagate this part because the whole branch is kind of brown and so weak it will not even grow roots. So what I did wrong, number 1, was, of course, we were moving from autumn into winter, and you know that the temperatures drop, we don't really have that much light anymore, and I put them even a darker place. Yes, we know that Marantas can grow in a semi-shade or shade maybe, but they lose their kind of beautiful patterns. For example, this one, you can hardly see what variety it is, and it was so beautiful. You will have the picture somewhere here on the screen now, how it looked like. Oh, actually it's here. So this is this variegated one, but now this is what I have, basically what I'm left with. So I moved them into a darker place just because of the space, and I was bringing my plants home from the balcony. I had to somehow put them somewhere, and I moved these plants into a darker corner. And growing there for 3-4 months, this is one of the reasons that I have this picture now. So even though Marantas are growing or can grow in the semi-shade, maybe even in the shade, but make sure that they have a longer daylight, basically, because this will help them at least preserve the pattern and grow in a normal way. Maybe not thrive, but they will still grow in a nicer way than what you see here. Well, mistake number 2 is the temperature. Even though it was very warm inside, but also end of autumn, winter, we had the heating on, and with the heating on, that the air humidity disappears, and we had a very dry air as well. Misting or putting this trays with water around plants, first of all, I didn't do it, and even if I would have done it, it wouldn't help, because this is kind of a short-term solution, but in general they need a very high air humidity. Well, I could have used my humidifier that is somewhere sitting there on a shelf. I could have done it, but I didn't, again, because of so many things going on in life. You just don't have time to think even about some basic things, right? But not about the coffee. Let me have a sip. Even though myself, when I watch other videos and people drink coffee in the videos, I'm like, come on, we don't want to waste our time just looking at you how you drink coffee. But I really have to drink coffee because my baby is sleeping, and this is the only chance now for me to record video for you and also have a coffee, because with her I won't be able to. All right, mistake number 3, it's about watering. And here I must say I did everything wrong with watering, because problem number 4 will also be about watering. But my mistake number 3 is basically I overwatered it. I overwatered these plants because, again, in a rush, I was just pouring water, not even thinking, not even knowing, but do they need, maybe other plants need, but do Marantas need that much? We really need to keep kind of the soil on the drier side. However, the air humidity on a more humid side. But yeah, basically I watered a lot, just basically pouring water, not thinking, not checking the soil, not checking how the plants are doing, because really I had just 2 minutes to water all my plants, and this is what I have done. Moving to mistake number 4, there were periods where I didn't water them. I didn't water them for so long that the soil got detached from the walls of the pots. And you can see maybe a close-up video that I will put on the screen now. But basically, yeah, when the soil gets detached from the walls of the pot and then you water it, what happens is basically you think you watered it, but the water goes over the surface of the soil and then through these cracks, it goes between the soil and the wall of the pot, not really soaking the soil itself. So even though I thought, okay, I watered it, but the soil wasn't wet enough and the roots were still dry, again, this is the result of what we have now. And you don't see here many stems, that many branches anymore, because I was basically cutting the dead ones off until there was nothing left. So that was mistake number 4. And mistake number 5 is not repotting them. So when I bought them, they were so thriving. They continued to grow with me very nicely. And I thought, why would I repot them? Why would I touch them if they're growing so nicely? It seems the soil is fine. And I didn't have time, as I've already told you for so many times. So I thought, okay, this is not urgent. I'm not repotting them. Let them grow in these plants, in these pots, and we'll see. But what I ended up with is basically the soil was maybe not the right one. I'm not even sure about the components of this soil or like what went into this soil. But very often when you buy plants from nurseries, garden centers, local stores, whatever, they are usually coming from these bigger greenhouses where they were propagated or grown. And very often you can see that it's not the right soil for them. So Marantas love really light soil so that they don't sit in very wet soil for a long time when you water them. If you watched until now, if you will be interested in one of my courses about growing houseplants, please check the description of this video, because there I have a link for you so that you can get my course and grow plants better. And I hope that will be useful for you and you will have more success with growing houseplants at home. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you have already some experience with growing plants. But I didn't change it, so I didn't repot it, and now I think that was also one of the mistakes, because if I would put them in the right soil, then I would at least give them a chance to have more nutrients, to have more airflow, and they will not be wet and then dry out and then dump wet and then dry out again. So I think this could also lead to this kind of a situation. So if you don't want it, don't make these mistakes. I would really be curious to also hear what you did wrong with them, because of course we're all learning. But I want to add also another thing. So one of the things is that these plants are very prone to pests, and number 1 pest is spider mite, number 2 basically is thrips. Always make sure that you have a look at them. If you see a very thin cobweb around the leaves, around the stems, make sure that you check for this, because that's spider mite. And always, number 1 problem with pests with these plants is spider mite. Also, thrips can harm them a lot, but for thrips it's very hard to notice them because they are so tiny. You don't really see them. They are very hiding very easily, and they can even be transparent, yellowish, greenish. It's really hard to see them until they are these mature pests that are already black, and only then you will see them. Even in this case, again, it's very hard to notice them, especially when you have a thriving plant and these pests are under the leaves doing their bad things to the plants. So I would like to really know about your experience, and of course, as always, if you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer them, even though I'm so sorry that with such a number of questions and comments, I don't really have time to answer all of them, but I do read all of them. And as we agreed, most of you participated. Well, not most of you, because there are many viewers on this channel, but many of you also participated in the poll, and you wanted to see monthly videos about Q&A. Basically, I will be picking some interesting questions that can be also beneficial for other viewers, and I will be recording a separate video just about your questions and my answers sharing my own experience. So stay passionate about plants, and I will see you in the next one.